Sarah Huckabee Sanders was kicked out of a restaurant after she was caught having the title of press secretary for the Donald Trump administration. In the wake of Sarah Sanders being asked to leave a restaurant because she has the audacity to work for the President of the United States, let's take a look at how the tolerant left treats Trump officials and supporters in the general public sphere, and really how they treat anyone who dares to have a coherent thought independent of the mob. We can do this with what may be a typical Friday for many, or at least those of us in the sticks of flyover country, where we are so intolerant that we stand for the national anthem and attend church on Sunday. Here's the scenario. In the morning, you wake up and put on the morning news to get a fair, balanced assessment of what is happening across the country. Then you remember that the media's number one priority is to call Trump Hitler and anyone who votes for him. And yet they simultaneously idolize what Trump does because the amount of attention given to him is beyond fangirl and fanboy status. Your morning commute to work is always interesting and serves as a reminder. If you drive, you may see this. If you take the bus, you may see this. And if you walk, you may have to cross the sidewalk or street to avoid this.
Trump! Trump! The fascist Trump!
Trump! The fascist Trump!
These people don't appear to have jobs, so these protests can begin at 8 a.m. and run all day and all night. By mid-morning, you'll receive a call from your kid's government school saying there's a problem. The t-shirt he decided to wear is so offensive, or so American, that you must immediately show up to school and bring a new shirt. Maybe you can get a new one from Target. When you arrive at school, you'll be welcomed by a student art display. Yes, this is a real art project from a high school student for a K-12 art fair. Yes, we had to blur out some of the completely inappropriate words that the second graders were reading when they looked at it. On the way back to work, you stop for a nice sandwich, but you decide you're really not hungry because apparently sandwiches must also be political. After work, you decide you want to take in a show. Maybe you'll go see Hamilton, a musical devoted to one of the founding fathers. But if you do that, you better hope that no one from the Trump administration is around because you will get lectured. So instead, maybe you'll go to the movies and get away from the reality by watching the newest superhero or Star Wars movies. And you better be woke enough because it's going to get real weird. Also be careful because if anyone recognizes you as someone who maybe is not part of that mob, you'll be reminded what a supposed awful human being you are. And you'll be spit on. But I'm not done. Let's get specific to the Trump administration officials because these stories are even worse. And they're going to get worse because according to California's Maxine Waters, the resistance must harass and even attack members of Trump's administration. At a toy drive in Los Angeles this past weekend, Waters said, "Let's make sure we show up wherever we have to show up, and if you see anybody from that cabinet in a restaurant, in a department store, at a gasoline station, you get out and you create a crowd, and you push back on them, and you tell them they're not welcome anymore, anywhere." As she claims, God is on our side. Let's stay the course. That course includes what happened to Sarah Sanders when she wanted to have dinner at the Red Hen, a farm-to-table restaurant in Lexington, Virginia. Her group was told to leave by the co-owner simply because Sanders works for Trump. Rumor has it, Sanders ordered soup.
No soup for you!
Before this, Sarah already had quite a week. A few days earlier, actor Peter Fonda threatened to take her children, which wasn't even as bad as his desire to rip Barron Trump from Melania's arms and give him to a pedophile to be raped. At the same time, Secretary of Homeland Security Kirstjen Nielsen was driven out of a Mexican restaurant by the mob yelling at her about immigration. And then they took it to her house to yell, "No justice, no sleep." Let's stop right there before your head explodes. Here's my question. Where are the feminists? Where are feminists when it's women and children being harassed and threatened with rape, abuse, and even death? Oh wait, there's a few. Those are the owners of the Red Hen. And here's another question. How does Sanders' situation compare to others? Because it is the private business's right to deny service, right? And yet Jack Phillips of Masterpiece Cake Shop had to go to the Supreme Court to have his right to deny baking a cake for a gay couple's wedding. Jack Phillips never denied selling someone a birthday cake or cookies. It was a very specific event and reason why he couldn't bake that wedding cake. It's because it's against his religion. So for everyone who is calling for Jack Phillips to bake the cake, bigot, they better now be screaming, "Serve the salmon, sectarian," in the name of social justice, of course. And what about the Starbucks in Philadelphia? Sanders was not going to the restaurant to use the bathroom and then sit there without purchasing something. She actually ordered food and offered to pay for it even after she got kicked out. I really hope the Red Hen workers are excited for their bias training that they, by the left's own standards, should now be forced to take. And now, in the name of poetic justice, can I just express how much I love Chick-fil-A? Because everyone was up in arms and told to boycott the restaurant 6 years ago when CEO Dan Cathy simply expressed his biblical beliefs. This means nothing in terms of eating chicken. Any homosexual person can go into Chick-fil-A and be told it's a pleasure to serve you that chicken. This clearly is contrary to the other chicken-named restaurant. The Red Hen has already lost more than 3 stars and gained thousands of mostly negative reviews on Yelp. Sarah Sanders may have been denied service, but that restaurant has a much bigger problem. Sanders won't lose in any way in this exchange because she's a class act and handled such abuse with a stiff upper lip. Her response to the owner? Her actions say far more about her than about me. I always do my best to treat people, including those I disagree with, respectfully and will continue to do so. In other words, Sanders treats people as individuals, not as political pawns playing the game of mobocracy. This is how you win and keep winning the game. Be the better person. In a dog-eat-dog world, the left will continue to consume itself. Until next time, stay healthy, America.